I broke it.
Technical difficulties.
Oh no. Oh no. You guys be the music, quick!
Boom. Boom.
When the night.
Hey man,
everyone, and welcome to Carnival Cruising Podcastaways, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything Carnival Cruising related. My name's Trevor Shelby, and none of my buttons are working. And joining me on this cruising adventure are my good friends Thomas Kennedy and Reese Scripture. Oh gosh. He's breaking it down for us. Oh,
Thomas
Is
solo.
that the end of it? Oh, wow. Oh, sorry, guys.
So, before the show, I was loading in new music and sound effects, and I think I broke something on our board.
That's what you get for trying to change everything every week because you got this soundboard.
Yeah, you know, I have too much power, and with power comes responsibility, and I'm not very responsible. So
we all know that.
So, my week has been fantastic. How has y'all's week been?
You want the truth or you want?
No, you know,
made up stuff.
Let's dealer's choice.
Well, my week's been a bunch of bullshit, you know.
Oh, so, well.
Yeah.
Sounds like we're making stuff up.
No. You know, whenever your blood pressure is almost stroke level and, you know, you don't know why, and your tooth is sideways and they won't pull the tooth because your blood pressure is through the roof. And, yeah. So... Sorry,
Tis the season.
That's a buzzkill right there. But on a great note, I was unplugged for like 5 hours last night. So
there you go. Got some digital decompressing going on.
Not by choice, but AT&T decided to cut all the internet in my area.
More depressing news.
I'm just not going to talk about my week. I don't want to bring it down anymore.
Any animals die? Any? Oh man!
No, I'm sorry. I killed the buzz. Now, man. I'm sorry.
Oh man. We got to bring this back up, Reese. I've got good news. You think you had some bad news recently? Well, I've got the cure for your bad news. So this morning. We got visited this morning, or in the wee early hours, by a young fairy.
What's his number?
Wait,
how young? How young?
Yeah, wait a minute. It was the Carnival upgrade fairy. So we got for the family reunion group cruise. We got offered a upgrade for our room for like stupid, like $40.
Well,
and
it's not. It wasn't cheap because you're gonna have to do some things.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Oh,
so
ominous.
But it put us. We're still in an interior room. We didn't really upgrade rooms per se, but it put us in a much better position in the ship than we were.
Sweet.
And we're actually same floor as Mr. Kennedy and some of the others, which is nice.
Wow.
So we can be close enough that
which I was hoping you guys would stay on your steerage level.
I mean,
as you know, you keep bragging that you're platinum, and I had this amazing room, like, you know, one deck below Lido deck, and now here you guys are just like invading my space.
We're invading your space. We're going to be like knocking on the door and running in the middle of the night.
You gotta find my cabin first.
You want me, Fluff Pillow?
For the love of God, go away. Housekeeping.
So,
I feel like me and Trevor are just going to stay up all night playing Mario Kart 64 and talking about the voices in the walls.
Yeah, I think We're going to relive our childhood.
Mario Kart 64.
We're going to bring it on the show.
We're going to bring it,
man. We're going to relive our childhood.
Yep.
I'm going to bring the Legos. So.
The short bound radio. It's gonna be.
Yeah, there you go. We created our own radio show. I think we told this before. Maybe that was on the other show. But I
think it was on the other show.
We created our own radio show back in the day. So
old
our own
school
radio
podcasters.
Station. Yeah. It was really funny.
For those of you all who are new to our show, we've had Trevor and I and Reese have had other podcasts together.
Yeah, maybe. You know. There's evidence out there of it.
Somewhere.
I think it was synthesized our voices and created shows. Because you guys didn't seem to like Janeway on that show, and I can't see how.
Listen. Okay. Janeway cannot be the best captain because, I mean, Patrick Stewart has to be at least, number 2. I mean, because he's been knighted. He is Sir Patrick Stewart. You don't see a Lady Jane Whitman or whatever her name is,
Jane
who
Whitman.
plays Janeway.
You just made up a name?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
That's how important she is to the Star Trek universe.
Well, that's wonderful.
I like the name, though. It sounds like the author to a really boring book about some kind of aristocrat or some shit. By Jane
Voyager is Voyager is
the best Star Trek show ever.
Make it so.
Okay, so I'm going to edit that where it sounds like he says
no.
So this week we got a pretty good show set for you guys. We've got some hotel motel information about Galveston we kind of put together this week. We've got some cruise news that we brought up last week that we're going to kind of talk about again this week. So I know you guys are super excited for Deja Vu. And yeah, Mr. Kennedy's put together some rather
stupid questions.
But first, I started working in the wee hours today on this, so I'm hoping this is well put together.
You're really on that wee kick, the wee hours.
Well, yeah, wee hours. I say wee hours because I get up really stupid early in the morning, and.
Reese, you're going to have to get used to him being up at 1 o'clock in the morning and going to bed at 2 in the afternoon.
I ain't getting used to shit. If he wakes me up, it's a miracle.
Yeah. You could ask David. I'm really good about sneaking out of the room.
He's gonna wake you up because, you and I, we're really good friends with him. And he will wake you up saying, "Land ho!" Screaming in your face. You want to know how I know? Because he did it to me many times.
I even recorded it, and he almost hit me.
I was going to say, I'd feel bad afterwards punching such a cute face, but...
Oh, well, it was funny at the time. I feel bad now. I wouldn't do it to Reese. I
almost peed myself.
I was a much younger, uncontrolled young man at that time, and now I'm wiser and older. And
your mother-in-law was in the room with us.
I know, it's great. I was like, Lando! Plus, we're going to be in a interior, so I won't see the land at all.
Well, unless you do the TV trick, you could do it.
Oh, yeah, I could do that. So... Anyways, I put together kind of a nice story time thing for today. Something that I went through, and I hadn't really thought about much. I've mentioned a little bit of it on this show. I kind of went over it all and kind of wrote everything down. I was actually working on this for my YouTube channel over at Peer Runners over at YouTube. and I thought it was too good not to tell here. And because I was working on another project for this show. So we're gonna go over some other hotel motel stuff. But I want to tell this story for this show today. So you see, after my second ever cruise, we were contacted by Carnival Cruise Lines, and we were told that we were receiving a free cruise. Mr. Kennedy also got this offer, but we didn't go on the cruise together. We chose different cruises. So the only thing that we had to pay for these free cruises was the taxes and the port fees. It was at this time Megan and I decided we were going to plan our first ever summer cruise. We never cruised in the summertime. We were not eager to go on a summer cruise. We cruised in the wintertime to avoid crowds of children that you see on summer cruises, but, freeze free. We did not have a lot of money at this point in time, so we were doing what we could just to save nickel and dime everything we could so we could have more money on the ship. When we were looking for places to stay in Galveston, we looked for the cheapest hotels on that island. We planned to stay in Galveston for 2 full days, and then we would get on the Carnival Magic on that third day. You see, the hotels in Galveston make a lot of money in the summer months. Families by the droves come to Galveston each summer for cheap beach getaways, not to mention all the cruisers who flood that island. So prices were actually a lot more than what we really wanted to pay, but we didn't want to stay off the island this time, so we were just kind of looking for wherever we could stay. So we found this amazing motel. It's called the Rosenberg Motel. It was $39 a night. And we were just 1 block from Pleasure Pier. We were a block from the beach. We looked at the pictures. It was a nice rundown motel, but it had this little charm to it that was this will be kind of fun, So we called the motel. You couldn't book online. We called the motel and we made our reservations. And it was on June 6, 2014. We arrived in Galveston, Texas in the early afternoon, and we went straight to the Rosenberg to see if we could check in. Now, when we arrived there, we discovered that they had roughly 20 rooms and about 4 parking spaces. I'm not kidding. It was 4 parking spaces. But when we got there, there was actually one that was open. And so we pulled in there. We actually, the whole time we were there, we never left that parking space because we knew we'd just lose it. I got a bit nervous at this point because when we arrived, this started looking less and less like a motel like we saw on the website, and it was looking more and more like a cheap apartment or some kind of shelter.
So did it remind you of the Bates Motel?
Bates Motel would have been nice. So, so some of the windows had newspaper in it, blocking from the sun from coming through. None of the the window dressings, none of that looked like it had been washed since the place had been built. When you pull up to the Rosenberg, they have a little separate building. It's like a U shape. So in the center is where you go check in at the office. The office had a large boarded up window. They had decorated it to kind of make it look less like a boarded up window, but it was very obviously a boarded up window. And so I was trying to stay upbeat. And so I wasn't saying anything negative about this place because we were already we were just make the best of it. So when we went to the office, it was locked and we couldn't get in. And so we were knocking and knocking and no one answered. We really didn't know what to do. So we walked to the back, which is where the courtyard is. When we walked into the back of the courtyard, there was a woman that was in a hammock back there. And she was like, "Hey, are y'all checking in?" And we're like, "Yeah." And so she got up, took our information, went into the office, came back with a key. I'm 75% sure this person worked there. I'm hoping they give us a key and took our credit card. So
no one used that credit card, right? Besides,
yeah. So we had to watch that for a little bit. I unloaded the truck and Megan got us, got the key and started getting some things together. And we went to the room. And when we entered the room, this is when I could no longer just contain myself. I started joking about everything because the room itself was super odd. When you entered the first room, it was kind of like a little half hallway, half kitchen kind of thing. And there was a bathroom on the right side and there was a bedroom on the left side. The bedroom was super large and the floor was tilted. Like it felt like the floor was caving in to the floor below us. We were on the second floor. And there was an AC in the wall that was like broken. So like it was either like on and it would like freeze you out, or if it was off, like you couldn't figure out how to get to come back on. And the creepiest thing about the room was the nightstands. They had these lamps on them. One of them had like it was like a children's lamp, and it had the movie Cars on it, and it had like, I'm not joking. What? And the lamp was for a child's room, and it said Cars, and it had like the lampshade had like the characters from the car movie, and the other lampshade was like a baseball bat looking thing, like for a kid's room. And it was just creepy, kind of.
And a vibrating bed.
Yeah, well, no vibrating bed, honestly. But it should have had that at this point. Since I got super creepy vibes, we didn't even unpack until we like searched the whole room for like bed bugs and all kinds of stuff. We were just like, this place has got to be filthy. And honestly, besides the fact that the place seemed like it was falling apart, there were no bugs or anything like that, so we felt comfortable staying there. I did, however, send some messages to friends that was like, hey, we're at the Rosenberg Hotel. If you guys, never hear from us again, search there first. So...
I remember that text.
I sent it to you. For me, it's less about the hotel you're staying at, and it's more about just getting out and having fun. So when we wanted to lounge or do anything that wasn't like on the beach, we actually had walked over. It's right by. It's down the road from the Hotel Galvez. So we just pretended we were guests over at the Galvez, and we sat on their loungers and like. They were around all these palm trees, and nobody ever questioned us. So we had fun doing that for a while. And we tried to hang out at the beach once, but this was in 2014, and this was nicknamed the Summer of Seaweed. They had this real thick brown and black seaweed that had like covered the beaches.
Well, there was also that big oil spill that year too.
Yeah, but this seaweed was like 2 feet deep. They had like these big earth moving machinery things that was like pushing everything around, the big bulldozers and stuff. And so it smelled awful. It smelled like fish death. So like hanging out at the beach was like a no-go. But we did go to Pleasure Pier. We went to Bubba Gump's. There's a lot of stuff in that area. And that was really kind of the main thing we were wanting, was to go somewhere that was going to be fun. And, we're in Galveston. So that was really one of the first times we stayed actually in Galveston and not Texas City. If I had to give it a rating, like out of 5, it was a solid like 1.5. And if you go look at their like Google page, they have like nothing but 1-star reviews. But I feel like for what we got and we survived, I never really felt like we were in danger. It was a solid, good time. But I just wanted to share my experience at the beautiful Rosenberg.
Well, I mean, except with the exception of that free cruise that I got, I've always stayed on the island. The free cruise we actually came in the day of, which is kind of scary because I've never done that before.
Yeah,
but for the first 2 or 3 cruises I did out of Galveston, we stayed at the Best Western, which is now a Red Roof Inn. And we stopped staying there because, like, the group that we cruised with was huge. We had like 30 people in our group. And so we had like 7 or 8 rooms. And there were cockroaches in 4 of the 5 rooms.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we stopped staying there. We then we started going to the Commodore, and then from there the group kind of started breaking off. We cruise at different times now, and stuff like that. But the Commodore was one of my favorites because it was right off of Seawall, and not far from Pleasure Pier. It was like a half-mile walk, but it was pretty nice. It's a nice little U-shape hotel. All the rooms have balconies or patios, and it's pretty decently priced. The hotel, the last time I went out of Galveston, I would not recommend for to my dying enemy, because it was just a crap hole. We were the door would not lock.
Oh, well, that's kind of frightening.
Yeah, and we didn't even know that there was a microwave in there until after we checked out, which would have been nice because we had to have food door dashed because we didn't have a vehicle and there's nothing around that hotel at all.
Yeah, that sucks.
So but. And that was the night stand, and we didn't like that. But we also stayed out in the Red Roof one year after the Best Western changed to the Red Roof, and it was still a crap hole. But the one good thing about the Red Roof is they have the Texas waffle maker. So,
well, there you go. Yeah. I don't know what that means, but that's fine.
It makes waffles in the shape of Texas.
Oh, wow. That. I've been missing out.
Well, I get to destroy Texas every time I go there. So,
well, there you go. So I wanted to break down some of the hotels. So, Mr. Kennedy, you could interject in any of we'll do it by number of money signs on how expensive they are. This is not a rating of like best to worst. This is just cheapest to most expensive hotels. And I'm just going to do a short, like, this place was great location, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the cheapest with one money dollar sign.
One money.
Money sign. Monies. One monies. I will now forever say monies. So the Rosenberg comes with one monies, and it was great, and that is all that was good about it.
Okay.
So the second one, which also comes in at one monies, is the Beachcomber Inn.
The cool Beachcomber.
Yeah.
I've had friends who stayed there and they loved it, but it's like mixed because I was thinking about it and then I started looking at the rooms and I Googled it, seeing pictures, and I was like, this is nothing like what's on Kayak or on Travelocity or Hotels.com. These pictures on there make it look amazing, and the pictures on Google are like,
it's an average room, and I will tell you, it's all about the location, and it's in a good location.
Yeah,
and
a very good location. It's like,
and it's got the good price too, because they also do cruise parking, so you can park there for the week. Doesn't cost you any extra as long as you stay there for a day or two. At least at the time that we stayed, that's the way it was. And I will caveat that all my information with a lot of these, like, it may have changed. So always call beforehand to make sure that this is still the case with like cruise parking and stuff like that. Coming at two monies would be the Beachfront Palms, which is right by the Beachcomber Inn. The breakfast there, they had a breakfast that was amazing, but they have no cruise parking. Its location, though, like I said, just like the Beachcomber, it is amazing. It's right by that fishing pier. It's like Fishing 61 or something like that. I don't remember what the pier is named. But it's the pier that has all the fishing that you can do the fishing all over the pier, and then they've got a bar on the second level of the pier.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Now, coming in at 3 monies is going to be just about anything. It's really 3 to 4 monies, or maybe 5 monies. It's going to be anything Airbnb.
Is just going to crack me up.
I know. That's going to be anything Airbnb. So usually Airbnb, we stayed in one Airbnb that was right behind that Hotel Galvez, and it was great. It was like just a couple houses behind, and it was reasonably priced, but it was much more expensive than like the Rosenberg or any of the hotels I've named so far, Beachcomber, Beachfront Palms. And then the most expensive would be the Hotel Galvez. I put that at 5 monies because just starting on a bad day in wintertime, it's like $200 a night. So,
well, yeah, but you guys stayed there the night before your wedding.
Yeah. And they did at the time cruise parking. It cost, but they were much cheaper than a week at the cruise port, and they did a shuttle and all that stuff. I've been told that they no longer do the cruise parking whatsoever. So,
see, the only one that we stayed at that allowed you to keep your vehicle there was the Red Roof Inn / Best Western.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't have a shuttle. You had to call a taxi or an Uber, which, depending on the way they get to the cruise port, could be more than what you're paying to pay for a week at one of the cruise parkings. Like, we paid $40 one time for a taxi. Wow. Yeah.
That's a small island for $40.
Yeah, exactly. So, the last time we stayed there, we just drove to the port from there. So, and I get up early enough on embarkation day that we stop for donuts too. So, I mean,
yeah. So not too bad. I mean, these are a lot of good options. We did have some good. If you hop on over to our Facebook page, it's actually our group. Facebook.com/Carnival Cruising Podcastaways. That's the page. And then you can find our group as well. It's Carnival Cruising Podcastaways group. Join there. A lot of the cult members has jumped in with their favorite places that they've stayed in Galveston. And
Reese even jumped in there and gave
Reese even gave some wonderful tips.
Well, like, don't stay in a big rig. Who would have thought?
It was a Peterbilt, wasn't it?
It was a Peterbilt. It was.
That's great.
And would Freightliner be different?
I mean, unless you own it, you're probably working. And I was delivering for, I believe it was Family Dollar, and
you said that before.
Oh, that was the worst.
You did not like that Family Dollar.
I did not.
I visited that Family Dollar once, and we went in there for like cheap snacks and foods while we were there. And I don't remember what stay it was, but
we just always went to Walmart.
What's that?
I said we just always went to Walmart.
Yeah, the Walmart, though, is kind of closer to the... if you're on Seawall, that dollar store is a little bit closer. So, at least the Walmart I'm thinking of.
Walmart I'm thinking of is right off of Seawall as well, so...
There is one? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Anyways, that is our vast knowledge of hotels in Galveston. So, we've stayed in some shady places, guys. So.
Very, very.
Well, this week I wanted to bring back some news that we talked about last week about a young man that went swimming.
For 20 hours.
Yeah, for 20 hours. His 20-hour swimming trip. We talked about before, so we do a little bit of a correction. We were saying 12 hours. It was actually 20, I guess.
Yeah,
and
that's what like Good Morning America when they interviewed him said and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I guess he had okay. From what he is saying and how he's kind of put everything, he went overboard. Or he won an air guitar contest.
Yeah. Serious?
And got a free yes.
And he got one of those free inflatable guitars.
Well, according to him, he got a free drink.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah,
he got a free drink, and
that was the only drink he had.
Well, I don't know. He says he was drinking through the day, but he doesn't know how much he was drinking.
But he said he wasn't drunk either.
Right, he wasn't drunk. So,
however, if you watch that short little clip of him air guitaring,
the air guitar thing, that's going to get me every time.
That's so funny. So he wins this contest. He leaves everybody because he's going to go to his room or something. He steps away, and apparently he somehow goes overboard. He has
no idea.
He has lost all memory of how he went overboard, which is interesting.
Yeah, and
you're going to drive me nuts.
He's sitting there.
Over here pouring a drink.
All this drinking talk. Decided I need to wet my whistle.
Well, there you go.
and he says he doesn't remember anything until after he hit the water.
Well, yeah, but that's the other part that gets me. Is now he's saying that he woke up in the water. He had been passed out in the water for some time. When he came to, there was nothing around him, no ship or anything. So
this dude is really buoyant, apparently.
Apparently.
And then he starts treading water and sees this freighter. And he sees this freighter as the sun is going back down. So he's been treading for a while.
Yeah. So my question is, how likely is it somebody accidentally goes overboard and passes out but yet survives being passed out in ocean water? I mean, I know the salt water might help you be a little buoyant, maybe.
But I've never seen anyone pass out on their and float on their back. They always float face down.
Maybe. I mean, like, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, he's incredibly lucky there, apparently.
For a number of reasons. I mean,
yeah.
It's the ocean. It's a deadly place.
Me attempting to swim, because I can't swim. Me attempting to swim in the ocean, like, I've almost died several times just because, like, I can't.
And we weren't even really in the ocean.
We weren't even really in the ocean.
We were in a cove,
tiny little
surrounded
waves.
by a coral reef.
Yeah.
It wasn't even allowing waves to come in. All right?
Tiny little waves coming in. I was like, it wouldn't go over my head. I go, blah. I was dying. And next thing you know, they gave me a life preserver.
But he also said that in that 20 hours, he lost 20 pounds.
Yeah, he lost 20 pounds, all this stuff. So now it gets crazier. He's done all this. They saved him miraculously. He's survived.
And he's naked at this point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's naked at this point. Which we could get into that.
He started taking off his clothes.
I'm not gonna do any trigger warnings before this show. But being a CJ major, I can talk about people that are found naked in situations where they may die, and what that may mean. But so I just want to get at that. Things are kind of odd here, but now they have started this GoFundMe for him, which seems kind of odd. Does that not
considering he wasn't injured except for some scratches?
Being 20 hours in the water, they're going to take him to the hospital right away.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know what they're going to charge him for the search and rescue, if that's going to have some kind of thing on it. I don't know if there's going to be anything on that, but so I could get that end of it, but I just don't know. My radar goes off on this one. That's like, this next thing you know, there's going to be a lawsuit. So maybe he's going to say he was overserved or something.
Well, he says that he wasn't even drunk. So he'd be changing his story then.
Human bodies are definitely more buoyant in saltwater. I'm reading a.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah. Because of the higher density of salt in the water, it makes the human body more buoyant.
Okay. So there could be some truth to some of this.
I kind of figured that anyways, just because, like the Great Salt Lakes, nothing sinks in that and all that jazz. So
yeah. I've heard that before about somewhere else too. Like the Dead Sea. Yeah. So currently, this individual has raised $1,800 for his GoFundMe. They're wanting $10,000 for his medical bills. That's feasible. I don't think that's a huge cash grab. I could see search and rescue and everything else.
Considering he was probably seen by Coast Guard medical, Mm-hmm. And I don't know if the Coast Guard would bill for search and rescue. Because that's what they're there for.
Yeah,
and they're a United States entity.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We will see where this goes from here. I find it interesting. I'm going to follow this and kind of see where it goes. I really don't know either way at this point. Is he, I kind of question if there was more of a crisis moment in all of this.
You think he tried to end it and it failed?
I mean, if his only claim to fame is winning a air guitar competition,
hey now, don't take that away from some of us.
Hey man, my claim to fame was I on the ship was that I won a horse race.
There you go. You won the horse race on the ship. So.
Is that one of those old timey Coke glasses that you're drinking out of?
Guinness, baby.
Oh, it's a
there
Guinness.
you go.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Very nice. Even better.
I like this glass because it says genius, just like me.
There you go. All right.
That's great.
Yeah. It's not one of the fancy beer glasses then.
Well, Mr. Kennedy, I think you had a couple of
oh my Lord.
Stories.
Do you know how many stupid questions I have seen today?
No,
let's start with this one that was in the Carnival VIFP page. I know. I said after they trolled me because I warned people about Trevor's car being emptied of gas. But this dude, he said he's a first-time cruiser. He was asking if he could bring his crab pot. And when is a good time to pull it out? Well, for one thing, you would need to bring crab traps, which you're not allowed to throw off of the ship.
What gets me is he talking about... Okay, we had some of this conversation earlier. When someone says crab pot to me, I'm thinking of a crab trap.
Well, don't
they call those pots?
No, they call them traps. So at least my family does. That crabs all the time in Virginia.
But I'm thinking of like stuff like the deadliest catch. They got the crab pots. That's what they call them.
Well,
and
maybe,
they throw them out there. I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's a cooking device.
Yeah. It sounds like he wants to bring a pot, like a cooking pot, on the ship.
Either way, why would you bring either of those things?
He also added the caveat, I have not been to the website yet to see if I can do this. So he's just asking a group who is known for roasting people anyway.
Yeah, it's the wrong group to ask that question again.
So I mean, the answers were like, oh yeah, and those big poles in the back, you can, that's where you put your deep sea fishing poles. And another guy was like, oh yeah, just make sure you grab the corn from the galley too, for your little crab boil. So there was a lot of smart ass answers to that, but. Yeah, that was just the dumbest question I've ever. One of the dumbest questions. The next one is the dumbest question.
Okay, what's the next one?
This one was actually to John. Someone asked if they could take their Roomba. Your room is cleaned every day and vacuumed every day.
Yeah.
Why would you need to bring a Roomba?
I will say, my Roomba needs a vacation. Okay.
Your Roomba dies every other day.
I do. Yeah. We haven't had this Roomba very long. This is Roomba number 6, and I will say that since its accident with the dog droppings, I had to replace its motherboard, and I will say that it needs a vacation. You've
also got 4 or 5 Franken Roombas.
Yeah, I've got one Franken Roomba. That's 3 Roombas put together to make one good one. So, but it's been retired to the bedroom only. It only vacuums our bedroom. It's living its nice retirement home life. So,
but if you were that filthy that you have to have your room vacuum constantly in between the twice a day that your room attendant comes.
If you're that filthy,
you
filthy bitch.
I can't help but think that this person has got to be the worst person to go on vacation with. They're like, oh, I brought my Roomba, I got my iron. I'm going to take care of all my housework, and this cruise is going to be fine. I get everything done. All the clothes will be folded. Did you bring your socks? We're going to take care of those. It's like, dear God, you're on a vacation. Stop the housework. They do housework for you.
Yeah.
I
brought my dirty dishes.
I didn't clean them, so we got to clean them.
I got room service, so I got to wash the dishes from the room service.
Yeah, there you go. That's Roomba thing. I just can't do it. No, don't bring your Roombas. Don't bring anything but your clothes and what you need. I mean, honestly, you're everything that you need to survive for a week. You don't need a Roomba. You don't need
good rule of thumb.
Everything else.
If they provide something, don't bring it.
Yeah, exactly.
They provide food. Don't bring a crap pot.
And then this last one is more of an advice it's more of me bringing up to give advice rather than to give them a hard time. It was in a carnival celebration group.
Yeah.
Someone asked, is it easy to carry your luggage, all of your luggage, on board? And, they're talking like, they're talking like they're going to bring 4 bags a piece.
Whoa.
Yeah, and everyone's like,
rough.
No, you drop them off at the porter and have them take it, and you keep your carry-on with, a change of clothes and your medicines in case you need to take them.
Yeah. I will say, my last cruise in New Orleans, there was a surprising number of people that were refusing to drop off their luggage with a porter.
I don't understand why you would do that.
I don't either. You can't get to your. This is like 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So we're looking at getting on the ship and being hours before you have access to your room.
So you got to take up space or haul all your luggage everywhere you go. And all of the elevators are being utilized at that time. So you have to carry them up and down stairs unless you want to wait.
And it's exponentially harder if you're carrying around a Roomba and a crab pot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And if you think about it,
Roomba, come back.
you, on the Celebration, you enter on deck 6, and the Lido is on deck 16.
Yeah.
So you have to lug your luggage 10 stories, 10 decks.
Yeah. I can't do that, man. That's too much. I will say, thinking of my last cruise, I do want to give a tip on the funniest thing that I've ever seen on a cruise that you can do besides hiding ducks. And that is go to Amazon.com and purchase their pack of 1,000 googly eyes. And somebody had went through on our cruise, and they have like these little like gargoyle-y eagles and stuff all over the ship, and they were putting googly eyes on all of them, and it was so funny. we got a few pictures of them. It was so humorous. Don't do it to the paintings. I, for one, have found out that googly eyes on paintings will take the paint off.
Well, no kidding, but
God, it was so funny. I 100% support it. I don't care if it causes anyone issues.
I support putting them on all the iPads in the photo gallery.
Yes. Oh, it was so great though. And like you'd be walking through and you'd see like these eagles going. So it was great. But I was like, I know exactly what I'm doing for my next cruise, so, which is the family reunion group cruise. So they're gonna have to take my googly eyes away. I won't get thrown off the ship. I promise.
You might, but
I don't know. I might fall overboard. So you never know.
Hey, I tried to get you grabbed off by a kraken. You said no.
He's trying to get me grabbed off.
What the what?
So whenever he was planning on proposing to Megan on the Sunshine, I pitched him an idea because he was asking for ideas on how to propose to her. So what I did was I said, okay, this is what you do. You take her to the back of the boat where I will have a submarine waiting with a claw that will reach up, and this claw will be, draped as a kraken arm, and it's going to grab you and take you and pull you into the water, and we'll let you into the submarine via an airlock, and we will take you to the next port of call. And then, this is just before you've said, will you marry me? You'll be like, will you marry? And you'll come off. And then, then at the next port of call, he comes out of the water and he's like, and she runs up to him thinking, oh my God. And she's like, will you marry me? And, happily ever after. But no, he decided not to.
Yeah, I decided not to get murdered that day, and I figured it was just a insane murder plot. And if it somehow did go through, I was also equally afraid that as soon as I was taken by the Kraken, Megan would go, yes! I'm free! And then to see her disappointment of me on the beach. So,
As soon as it grabs you off the ship, she turns around. Singles mingle that way? Okay.
Yeah. Celebrate good times, come out. Well, anyways. Well, this was a great show besides the fact that my freaking soundboard wasn't working. But
Darn.
Yeah. Oh, man. But make sure you all go over to our Facebook page over facebook.com/Carnival Cruising Podcastaways. We have the group there, and we have the page as well. Just join them both because they are, the cool thing to do. That's what the cult members do. And you want to be a cult member. So then we'll post up weekly questions. We kind of have some chit chats, have a good time. Everybody celebrates when they're going on a cruise. It's a lot of fun. So definitely join us over there. You can find us on our YouTube page as well. We're going to start building that up a little bit more.
Do you want to talk about next week?
Oh yeah, let's talk about next week a little bit. So we've talked about maybe having a normal episode. We discussed before, and so we may have a normal episode come out on the the
17th.
The 17th. So we're gonna have a normal episode come out the 17th, and we're talking about doing a live show over at our Facebook page. And if I can ask Josh and Amanda how they do it, it may be simulcast from Facebook and YouTube. So you can go to our YouTube page, Carnival Cruising Podcastaways, or you can go to our Facebook page, and you should be able to find us there. More than likely, though, check our Facebook page. That's where we're going to stream to. If we could do one, that's where it's going to go. And so we'll have a good show. We'll do this live, and you guys can see how professional and everything we are. It will amaze
Don't lie to them. Don't lie to them.
It will amaze you.
How much editing goes into this?
Yeah, really. I'm like, oh, we can't say that. That'll get us canceled. Anyways, just know, everybody, you are unique, you are special, and you are loved.
And remember, anything that happens on the ship stays on YouTube. Bye.
Save the foosball tables. Boy.
See ya.